The rage of those below boiled without end. Eons passed with the lust for vengeance unsatiated. Then came a great flame from the sky, and the titanic beast that would unleash the fury of those older than Terraria itself. What some would call justice may ultimately be served. Others, though, would call it genocide. Devastation beyond comprehension, and in the deepest recesses of Terraria, a monstrosity of flesh would be born, a guardian to imprison the light of the world. All it would take to unlock it, though, was the strength of a champion, and the soul of a forgotten hero. Gods had begun. Humanity had all players deep and challenging, with different is less likely to get me horribly imprisoned deep in the fiery underworld of the builders of Terraria, an ancient species from beyond the stars forced into servitude to keep the world's core burning, lest the planet die, the race along with it. The once resourceful, peaceful people were driven to madness and eternal rage by the actions of the overseers, who cared little for the builders' plight. They tried to dig out of their prison, but it was to no avail. Their essence was bound to the core, and to leave would mean certain death. It seemed that nothing could break the curse and free them from their imprisonment. Not even the god of corruption and chaos who merged with the very being of the planet. And then, eons later, he came. A great one of unfathomable power who desired to take Terraria for his own purposes. And to do this he would need to bind the power of light that pushed back the corruption so that night would reign supreme. Stripping all light from the world and holding it unto himself. Even the demons of the underworld felt the effects of Cthulhu's raw power, and would come to pray to the mighty Lord. Great Cthulhu, set us free. Knowing of their nature, Cthulhu would indeed visit the denizens of the underworld, and promised them eventual salvation, but for now tasked them with becoming wardens of the prison they had so long been inmates of. Unflinchingly tearing a chunk of flesh from his own body, the Great One invoked an age-old cosmic power to bind the power of light to the flesh, and left it in the hands of his new subordinates. Feeling a renewed sense of purpose and believing that their freedom would soon come, the demons watched diligently over the putrid, rotting hunk of meat as it pulsated and bled, somehow living on by itself. For many lifetimes they guarded the prison of light, waiting for Cthulhu's return and their long-awaited freedom. He would not return though, and there would be no freedom. Regardless of what happened above, the Great One desired only to use the demons for as long as they were useful, and then do away with them like he had with so many others. In a way it was lucky then that a hero of great courage fought against and to an extent defeated the cosmic horror, thwarting his plans for Terraria. Still the demons waited, loyal to their master until the hero of Terraria descended into the underworld and fought through the demon hordes in an attempt to find the flesh prison and destroy it, releasing light back into the world. But to his horror, he found it could not be done. The power of Cthulhu still too prevalent in the world to break the curse. Surrounded by the demons and unable to complete his task, the hero pleaded with the forces of hell, telling them of the true nature of Cthulhu and how he never intended to free them. Deep down, the demons knew the truth, and lowered their weapons as the hero explained that if the forces of night were to also be bound, then maybe the curse of the demons would be lifted. The demons had been deceived far too many times though, but having nothing to lose, they allowed him to carry out the rite of binding, using great powers he had learnt in the dungeon to imprison the power of darkness within the same flesh that light dwelt. In that moment, the world fell into a hollow balance, devoid of light and dark, and merely existing, without purpose. What was more is that the demon's curse had not been lifted, and hell grew restless at yet another perceived deception. They were about to slay the hero, but then the flesh began to writhe and scream. With the combined powers of the whole of Terraria, it grew to become a monstrous wall of flesh that desired only to consume all life, and threatened to creep across every inch of the underworld before moving on to the overworld. Knowing he could not let this happen, the hero faced the abomination, and with the eldritch knowledge of the dungeon, merged his own soul with the creature to satiate its hunger and lull it back to slumber. The plan had worked, but the hero was now as hollow and devoid of power as the world around him. There was no way he himself could defeat the terror he had created, so took a piece of the beast's flesh and crafted it into an effigy of himself, entrusting it to the demons, so that when the time came the creature could once more be awakened, and with luck destroyed, even if it meant the loss of his own life. Displeased with the destruction wrought by the Wall of Flesh, the demons vowed to kill anyone who ventured into their realm, and only one who could defeat their full force would be strong enough to defeat the abomination. With that, the hero returned to the surface, weak and frail, but with purpose, to find and guide a new champion for Terraria, one who may defeat the terrible guardian of light and night, and return a true balance to the world. Only no one could have predicted that the forces would become twisted inside the flesh, and even light could be perverted into something awful and altogether deadly. The hero thought a new champion would put an end to all this strife, but in the end, it was only the beginning. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm here to say I am coming up on 10,000 subscribers and also my big 30th birthday at the end of September. So the best birthday present ever would be to hit that target. So if you're not already, I would love so much if you would subscribe for that. And if that's not enough for you, then we've got lots of stuff that I can't tell you about at the moment coming up for when we hit that target. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications to keep up with all the new videos and what's happening on channel. And other than that, I just hope you have a great day.